Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. Through this program, I get an opportunity to meet some budding authors in our community. And today's Woman in Focus is one such author. She's written this amazing book. Her name is Navi Sandhu. Let's meet her. Navi, most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Nayan's family fruit salad.
Yes.
There must be a story behind there.
Yeah, Nayan. My son, his name is Nirvan. So the N came from Nirvan, and he has big eyes. So Nayan.
Nayan, okay,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So when I was writing the story, I had Nirvan in it. And then I don't think he would have wanted his name in the story, so I changed it to Nayan because of his big eyes.
Writing a book, you must have been thinking about it for a long time before you even, came to the position where you could print a book.
Yes. So this has been a 20-year adventure for me, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, so when I was working in childcare 20 years ago, when I was trying to plan curriculum around multiculturalism and exposing the children to diversity, it was really hard to find books that displayed that. And I just thought, oh, it'd be so nice to have something, in Punjabi, like even if you wanted to teach about Diwali or Vaisakhi or, anything, even Chinese New Year's, it was really difficult to find books. And I thought somebody needs to come up with this, and I guess.
Why not you?
Yeah, well, I don't think I had the courage to do it at that time, but the idea was always there, and I always wrote down ideas, and if I wrote a book, it would be like this, and when I did find books, they weren't really like high quality books. They were just like the illustrations were not very nice, and they weren't really capturing, and I always wanted to, if I write a book, the illustrations have to be great. It has to be interactive. It has to be fun. It has to be. I had a whole list of things that a book had to have.
Right.
So then, when I was on maternity leave with my son, I actually put all those ideas together and came up with a few books.
Well, that's good.
And this was one of the books that.
So this is one of the first ones.
This is one of the first ones, yes.
And many to come?
Hopefully.
Now, the main thing and I found this to be interesting basically because, number one, you're talking about Indian kids, mom and dad, grandparents. Then you're using words that we use in everyday life. We don't go home and call our Nanaji grandpa.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Dadaji grandpa.
Yes.
So we say Dadaji or Bibiji or,
Yes.
So bringing words like that, which are in everyday lingo, is something that you wanted to do.
Yes, I wanted, like another part of it was that our kids, it's about representation. So when I was growing up, the only thing that represented somebody of color, or the only people that represented colored people were people like yourself. Like we looked up to you. And like for me, when I watched TV, I saw a lot of Afro-American people or people like, those kind of colored people. So we were never represented in literature or television or anything. And I really wanted our kids to feel like, you know what?
Yeah.
That person looks like me.
Yes.
And my grandma looks like that. And my Dadaji, I have a Dadaji, and I call him Dadaji, right? And we go on picnics and we eat roti and we take a thermos of tea with us when we go, right? So I wanted it to be very realistic, and I wanted to represent that in literature, right? So that, like jida apanapan hunda hai, right? So that's what I wanted out of the literature. I wanted it to be very, very representative of who we are.
It's taken us such a long time. I've been here now for almost 50 years, and true that I've been doing television for a long time, But having said that, it is quote unquote ethnic television.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's now in the last 10 years that I've noticed that our own young women are being seen
Yes.
on television, and they are our faces.
Yes.
So it's taken us that long.
It has. And you know what the beauty about this, because this is a series of books. So in the series of books, our families are not just South Asian anymore.
No.
Our families are diverse.
Yes.
So we have our Indians that are
Yeah.
married to Asians,
Yes.
and Indians that are married to Caucasians, and
Yes.
Indians that are married to a whole diverse range of people. So
Yes.
with this series, that my intention is to have all those people represented.
To explore all that.
Yeah, because in our own family, my cousin's married to Asian.
Yes.
My, you know, and my nephew is half Caucasian.
Right.
So it's really important for all kids to be represented, and that's what I hope to achieve with this series.
So you said this is the first of many.
Yes.
But you are a self-published author.
Yes.
And it must have been very expensive.
It is very expensive.
So wouldn't you want somebody to come up and say, wouldn't the education department want to invest in this?
I would think they would. To be honest with you, I haven't thought about sourcing out investors. I've applied to the Surrey Public Library to have it put into their catalog, and Vancouver Public Library isn't accepting anything right now because of COVID.
COVID, I see.
So hopefully it will get into the libraries
Right,
locally and hopefully internationally. I mean, the books are available online.
right.
You can purchase them through Amazon and Chapters and, you know, Barnes and Noble. You can purchase digital copies of the book.
Right.
So it's set up so that they can be purchased like that.
With the digital being in the play, I think it's going to be a little easier maybe?
Yeah.
It should be.
So if you have, I think, a Kindle app or
Yes.
you can buy the digital copy, and
Right.
it will play on the
So
laptop.
if somebody wanted to go ahead and get this book, what would be the right way? Just go up on Amazon and get it?
Yeah, or I'm selling copies locally, and
Right.
I'm selling them I'm selling them for $10 each,
Right,
as opposed to Amazon is selling them for a higher price.
right.
And just so you know, like $1 from each copy is also being donated to a local charity that I've chosen.
Fantastic.
So
That's
it's
beautiful.
called the Starfish Backpack Program.
Okay.
They operate throughout the Lower Mainland, but I'm connected with the North Delta program because I grew up in North Delta.
I want to take a short commercial break, come back, and you talked about when you were pregnant with your son. So I want to take you back to your childhood.
Sure.
And then you know, come to these books. Don't go away. We are talking to Navi, Sandhu, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Navi Sandhu, whose full name is Navjit Sandhu, is our Woman in Focus today. So, were you born in Canada?
Yes, I was born in Vancouver, Grace Hospital.
Wow. And how many in the family?
Just myself, my brother, my parents, obviously, but we lived in a joint family.
I see.
So I had both sets of grandparents, and
No kidding.
Yeah, and growing up, we had lots and lots of family that it was like a revolving door of family members coming from India, getting settled. They would start off at our house, and
Yes.
then they get settled, and then they'd move on and carry forward, right? So it was a lot of family, a lot of love, a lot of everything.
I've heard so many stories of families that lived in South Vancouver, and they were the hub.
Yes.
of everyone coming.
Yeah.
And they would come and stay. And I admire all those women who would, stand right next to their husbands, cook for their entire family, right?
Yeah.
And your mother being one of them.
My grandmother and
Your
my
grandmother,
mother, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Doing all that. And, we never talk about that.
No, we don't, right?
And theirs was probably the hardest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine cooking for, so you said joint family. So if people were coming from India, their very first stop were your house.
Yeah.
And so you'd be making food so that they don't feel homesick.
Yes.
And all kinds of things. My God, what a amazing, tradition to continue.
It is amazing. It was, I remember my grandmother, when she would make saag, she would make this big pot of saag, and then it would be dispersed to everybody. And it was just amazing. It was, it was just...
And just to make saag, you have to go and bring the rupini first.
Yeah.
And clean it all up, cut it all up, then cook it for hours.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, my hat's off to all those who know how to cook. I am a terrible cook.
Yeah, I actually really love to cook, and I think I got that from my grandmothers.
Wow,
yeah,
fantastic.
Both of them.
So, lovely household, lot of love. And was it expected of you to be in a certain profession when you were growing up?
I think so, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
What did they want you to be?
Like everybody else, a doctor, a
Yeah.
lawyer,
Yeah?
teacher, something professional, right?
Yeah. Mom and Dad said, you're born in a country where you can be whatever you want
Yes. My dad, from a young age, I think he put the bug of writing in my ear.
to be. Very nice.
I don't know, because his sister, my buaji, she's a writer. She's a Punjabi writer, and I think that, I don't know, I think he somehow knew that maybe I had this gift. I don't know, parents sometimes they just know,
They do.
right? I never really pursued it. I never thought I had the gift because I just wasn't, I don't think I tapped into my full potential when I was younger. And so I, as much as my parents wanted me to pursue a really professional career, I opted to take little small courses here and there and pursued my passions that way, right?
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And very few people are able to do that.
Yeah.
So, meeting your husband, was it an arranged marriage or was it a love marriage or is it a taboo to talk?
No, you know what? When I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend, right?
No.
Right?
No.
So that was just taboo. Just talking to a boy was taboo,
Yeah.
right? And
Did you, okay, I've got to ask this. Did you go behind your mom and dad's back and talk to a boy?
of course you do, right? You do it and you're scared. But I was a little bit shy and awkward too. So I didn't do it as much. I was too afraid to disappoint my parents, so I didn't do it a lot. But yeah, I did. And, when I met my husband, actually, they tell you, mundiyan na gal nahi karni, this
Yeah.
and that. So I kind of just kept to myself and I
Yes.
focused on, at that time I was in childcare and I was just really having fun with that and enjoying it. And so I never really met too many guys because when you're
busy
working,
with your own.
yeah, when you're working with kids, you're not going to
Yeah.
meet a lot of guys,
Right.
right? And so my parents were like, "Tu viaha nahi karaundi, tu munda nahi labdi, tu munda nahi labda," like,
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, how am I supposed to find a boy when you told me I'm not allowed to talk to boys, right? So anyways, long story short, my dad had brought home an envelope one day. I was about 24, 25, and he put it on the counter, and it had a picture of 4 people. And he said, can you meet one of the boy in the picture? And I was like, well, no, I don't have any other prospects. So
Okay, I'll try.
I'll give this a go, right? Why
Yes.
not, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we met up, and
So there were 4.
there were 4 people in the
Yeah.
picture. There's 2 young men,
Perspective.
right? So it was my husband now and his brother. So I wasn't actually sure which one I was going to go meet, but I was like, okay, whatever, right? So we arranged a date.
blind date.
We arranged a blind date
Yes.
at a restaurant in Steveston. And I got there on time, and he showed up,
Yeah.
and he was late, and
He
it was
was
a funny
late?
story. Yes.
So you never let him forget that?
Yeah, I don't let him forget. I could give you more details on the story because it was a funny story. But anyways, we met, and I
Yeah.
think we both were like, okay, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, right? And then I think he says I called him. Like, we just left it alone. And then
Right.
he says I called him first, again, a few
Yes.
months later. And it's possible that I did. And
Yeah.
we just reconnected. And then we kept in touch, and we talked, and we became friends. And then,
That's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it just flourished from there.
So with the blessings of mom and dad, and then eventually you guys just took it over.
Yes. Well, no, we told them no.
Oh,
We told them we're not interested.
right.
And then I think part of it was because then when you say yes, then
Yes.
the expectation is there
Yes.
to pursue it further, right?
Although, when are you going to get married? When? Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
So then, we just got to know each other, and then eventually I was like, so are we getting married? And then we got engaged, and then we had our parents' blessings, and then we
Right.
got married.
Was it a big wedding?
Of course, I'm the only girl
Yeah.
in all of my cousins.
Huge.
So it was a big wedding, and it was actually on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
which I was surprised that as many people showed up as they did, and it was actually beautiful. It was
Lovely.
great. Yeah.
And you told me you were born on New Year's Day.
Yes. So I was born on New Year's Day, so that's where my name came from. My mom and my dad decided to name me Navjit because I was born on New Year's Day, which
Beautiful.
means new winner, right? Yeah.
Beautiful. We are talking to Navjit Sandhu, who's written this beautiful book. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back. Okay? Don't go away.